Think about the wealthiest looking person you know. Got someone in mind? There's a good chance they're broke. Not struggling, not between jobs, just quietly, completely, financially hollowed out. Performing a life they cannot afford for an audience that isn't paying nearly as much attention as they think. And here's the part that's going to mess with you a little. By the end of this video, you're going to realize that almost everything you've been using to measure someone's wealth is exactly what fake rich people want you to look at. The car, the fits, the vacations, the check they grabbed at dinner. All of it designed, deliberate, and in a lot of cases, funded by $1.28 trillion of collective credit card debt. The average American household carrying over $100,000 in total debt. Nearly half of all credit card holders not paying off their balance every single month. These are 10 signs someone is fake rich, and sign number 7 is the one that hits people the hardest. You'll see why. Sign number 1. They lease everything and brag about it. Picture this. You're in the parking lot of a nice restaurant. Guy pulls up next to you. Brand new 7 Series. Slides out, fixes his watch, heads inside like he owns the building. 30 minutes later, he's at your table talking about the car. Because of course he is. Just picked it up last month. Only $1,100 a month. Incredible deal. Now, leasing itself isn't the problem. Smart people lease for smart reasons. But here's the thing. Smart people don't lead with the monthly payment like it's a trophy, because smart people know what that number actually means. $1,100 a month is $13,200 a year on a car they don't own. That is losing value every single day they drive it. Here's the actual math. A $50,000 car is typically worth around $30,000 after just 3 years, which means they're financing $20,000 of pure evaporating value, plus interest, plus fees. And at the end of the lease, they hand the keys back. Nothing to show for it. Not $1 of equity. Someone who leases continuously for 20 years has made hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments and owns absolutely nothing at the end. Real wealthy people know the difference between ownership and access. Fake rich people pay for the feeling of ownership without any of the actual benefit. The flex isn't the car. The flex is owning the car and 3 other assets while the car sits in your paid-off garage. Sign number 2. They talk about money constantly. The wealthier someone actually is, the less they bring up money in conversation. Genuinely wealthy people will sit through an entire dinner and never once mention what they earn, what they're investing in, or what something costs them. Because when financial security is just your reality, you stop announcing it. Meanwhile, the fake rich, money is their entire personality. Did I tell you what I cleared last month? Yes, 3 times. Just closed a deal. Not going to say the number, but then don't say it. Except they always say it. Always. But here's the specific tell I want you to watch for. It's always future tense. I've got a huge deal closing next month. Once this investment pays off, everything changes. I'm working on something massive right now. Always about what's coming, never about what's here. Because what's here doesn't match the image they're maintaining. And then there's the revenue versus profit confusion, which is maybe my favorite tell of all. Someone casually mentions their business did $500,000 last year. Impressive. What they don't mention? Their actual take-home was $50,000. Still decent money, but not exactly the flex they're presenting over dinner. The exaggeration always reveals the insecurity. Every time. The genuinely rich talk about everything except money at dinner, because they don't need your validation to feel okay about where they are. It's insecurity, wearing a Gucci belt. Sign number 3. Designer everything, portfolio nothing. The Louis Vuitton bag, the off-white sneakers, the Balenciaga hoodie, the whole fit is $8,000 easy. And there's nothing wrong with buying nice things if you've built the foundation first. But here's the pattern with fake rich people. The luxury goods exist. The financial foundation does not. They will spend $3,500 on a handbag without a second thought. But ask them about their 401k contribution rate and you get a blank stare. Not an awkward pause, an actual blank stare. Like you just asked them a question in a different language. Here's the math nobody talks about. Someone performing wealth spends somewhere between 20 to 30% of their income on looking wealthy. Someone actually building wealth? 2 to 5% on those same categories. That gap, compounded over decades, is the difference between retiring early and working until your knees give out. Now, and I know someone in the comments is already typing, but Warren Buffett. Yes, the guy is worth $130 billion. still drives a modest car, still drinks McDonald's coffee. Not because he can't afford better, because he genuinely does not care what you think about his coffee order. He has nothing to prove to anyone, ever. The designer flex is for people who need you to see it, and needing you to see it, that's the tell.
Sign number 4. Ask them what they invest in and watch them panic.
This is my personal favorite. You don't need a financial audit. You don't need to see their bank statements. You just need one question, asked casually over a drink, like you're genuinely curious. Hey, what are you doing with your money these days? Like investing. What's your setup? Watch the face. Because the fake rich will go one of exactly 3 ways. Option 1, the vague flex. Oh, you know, I've got some things going on. Real estate, a little bit of crypto, a few other plays. Translation, absolutely nothing. That answer describes 0 actual positions. Option 2, the topic pivot. Oh, speaking of which, did you catch the game last night? Seamless, almost impressive. Option 3, something that doesn't quite add up. Yeah, I put some money into this thing my cousin told me about. 40% guaranteed returns. Sure, guaranteed. Great. Real investors talk specifics. Index funds, REITs, their brokerage, their allocation. They're not secretive about how they invest, even if the exact numbers stay private, because the strategy is something they're actually proud of, not something they're improvising on the spot. Knowing how you invest is what separates someone who's actually building something from someone who's just spending and hoping it works out. Sign number 5. They always pick up the check, even when they can't. You've seen this scene. Big group dinner, maybe 10, 12 people. Bill comes, and before anyone can even reach for their wallet, he's already got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. Seriously. And the table loves him for it. For about 30 seconds. Here's what the table doesn't see. He's going home tonight and moving money between accounts to make it work. Or it's going on a credit card he's been carrying a balance on for 6 months. One of the nearly 50% of Americans doing exactly that right now. Or he's going to be quietly stressed about that $400 dinner for the next 2 weeks because it actually hurt, and he can't tell anyone that. Because telling anyone would break the character. Fake rich people use generosity as a status performance. The check isn't about taking care of the people at the table. It's about the moment, the reaction, the way the room looks at him for those 30 seconds. The loudest I got it in the room, almost always the person who least can afford it. Wealth doesn't need an audience for its generosity. That's the tell. Sign number 6. They have to live in the right neighborhood. 600 square feet, 1 bedroom, thin walls, no parking, in the most expensive zip code in the city, $4,200 a month. And when you ask why they live there, because you will eventually ask, the answer is never really about the apartment, because the apartment, honestly, isn't that nice. It's about the address, about what the address communicates, about the 3 seconds of impression it creates when they tell someone where they live at a party. 3 seconds, $4,200 a month. $4,200 a month is $50,400 a year. Over a decade, that is $500,000. Gone. Paid to a landlord. Building equity for someone else. Funding an impression that almost nobody is tracking as closely as they think. Meanwhile, genuinely wealthy people will often live in a completely unremarkable neighborhood and quietly own 3 properties somewhere else that are generating income every single month. They're not optimizing for how it looks. They're optimizing for the math. Those 2 goals are very often in direct conflict, and which one you choose says everything. Real wealth is built by controlling costs in the invisible places so money can work in the places that actually matter. The fake rich do the exact opposite, and then wonder why the gap never closes.
Sign number 7. 1 bad month would break them.
The real test of wealth isn't what happens in a good month. It's what happens when life goes sideways. Car breaks down, company does layoffs, and your name is on the list. Medical bill shows up out of nowhere. These aren't catastrophes. These are just Tuesdays. For the fake rich, 1 bad month is a full emergency because there is no buffer, no emergency fund, no financial runway of any kind. Studies show nearly 40% of Americans cannot cover a $400 emergency without going into debt or selling something. $400. Some of these people are making monthly payments on a $60,000 car. Real wealth is resilient. It bends without breaking. You could take 2 or 3 genuinely bad months in a row and still be standing, still investing, still fine. Fake rich lifestyle is a house of cards. It looks absolutely beautiful, right up until the wind picks up. Sign number 8. Their vacations are their entire personality. 2 weeks before the trip, countdown story on Instagram. During the trip, a photo every few hours. Rooftop pool, airport lounge, business class seat photographed from a very specific angle that definitely took 3 attempts to get right. The spontaneous candid on the cobblestone street that was neither spontaneous nor candid. 2 weeks after getting home, the debrief. I really needed that. Europe just resets me. The trip cost $12,000. It went on the credit card. It'll take about 14 months to pay off, but the content was excellent. The trip was never really for rest. It was for content, for the story it generates, for the photos that serve as evidence of a lifestyle that doesn't actually exist on any other Tuesday of the year. Actually, wealthy people travel too. Quieter, less documented, a place they own somewhere warm. A flight they didn't think twice about because it's just a flight, not a personality update. Because when something is genuinely normal to you, you stop turning it into a documentary. Sign number 9. They dodge real money conversations like it's a sport. There's a specific energy shift that happens when you bring up real financial topics around fake rich people. Mention taxes, they suddenly remember they have a call to take. Ask about their net worth, the topic changes with a smoothness that's almost athletic. Ask about their business revenue, and you get a number that, if you think about it later, doesn't quite match anything else they've told you over the past 6 months. Fake rich people cannot survive actual financial conversations because the story falls apart the moment anyone looks closely. The income they claim and the lifestyle they're running, the math doesn't work, and somewhere underneath all of it, they know that. Real wealthy people are often surprisingly open about money. They'll tell you what worked, what didn't, what they do differently, what they got wrong in their 30s, because they have nothing to protect. The reality of their situation matches the story they're telling, so scrutiny doesn't threaten them. The avoidance is the tell, every single time. If someone reliably shifts the energy whenever real money talk comes up, they are protecting something. And what they're protecting is the gap between the image they're projecting out into the world and the bank account they'd never let you see.
Sign number 10. They deeply, genuinely care what you think of them. And here's where we get to the root of all of it. Every lease, every designer piece, every check grabbed at dinner, every Instagram story from the trip, every vague flex about deals closing and money coming. Take all 10 signs and trace them back to their source, and you end up here, every single time. They need you to see them as successful. Every financial decision, the car, the apartment, the bag, the vacation, passes through a filter of external perception first. Will this impress people? Will this signal the right things? Will this make me appear to be the person I'm trying to convince everyone I am? And that's not a judgment. It's just human. We're wired to care about status. But at some point, the question becomes, who are you building this for? Because if the answer is for the image, you are spending the exact money you need to actually build something real on convincing people you already have it. That is an expensive loop, and it gets more expensive the longer you stay in it. Real wealth is built in private. It's boring. It's unglamorous. It does not make good content. Nobody is going to watch a video of someone maxing out their Roth IRA on a Tuesday night, but it makes a genuinely good life. And that, at the end of all of this, is the difference between someone who is rich and someone who has spent years getting very, very good at looking like it. If any of these hit close to home, good. Most of us have played this game at some level. The question is whether you want to keep playing it or start building something that doesn't need an audience. Drop a comment. Which sign do you see most? In your circle or, honestly, in yourself? I'm genuinely curious. And if you made it this far, you already know what the subscribe button is for. This is Breaking Money. See you in the next one.